It's finally happened. My podcast just started and I finished the first episode. I received Sultan Al Shaali, the first guest. He came here and brought many stories, exciting stories. Not only that, he's also author of the book. You can see his book here. And he is not the only book. He has many other books. So if you listen, if you follow us, you are going to listen his stories from where he started. He didn't start just from overnight. He came, he struggled, he failed until he came where he is now. Stay tuned and follow us. Welcome to the Success Story Podcast. I am very happy today we are having a special guest, a guest who tried many times, who failed in order to open many new businesses. But at the end of the day, he said, I'm not going to stop. I have a mission. I have something. I want to proceed. Now, after failing, after learning, after not giving up, he is author of book. He has 4 books, 1 already published and 3 on the way. Not only that, he is also the vice president of Business International Accelerator, where help other entrepreneurs coming here in UAE and help them to make a plan, to create a system, to do many things. Just welcome Sultan Al Shaali.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What a lovely introduction.
So, Sultan, I talked about your story that, of course, for any entrepreneur or any business owner who started this journey, of course, this journey didn't come just like that, right? There is no magical machine. You say, kadabra, I will be the owner of business company just in one day. Of course, there was action, there was failure, there was many things. Just I want to understand your journey. How did you start? From where did the idea of opening the business or doing something that you have not been able to do it before, and you took the action, you took the initiative in order to launch businesses. Tell us about how did you start your journey?
If I tell you the truth, I started my journey when I was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And back then we used to gather every weekend,
mm-hmm.
the extended family. So my aunts and uncles and nephews, cousins. And every time we gather up, we used to go to the supermarket, to Dukkan.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized time after time that we're spending too much money there. So I decided one day to go to the wholesaler
mm-hmm.
and buy a box of chips, a box of chocolate. And on that first upcoming weekend, I opened my own supermarket. And that was the first experience of trading that
mm-hmm.
I had hands-on. Once, I got the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a special permission at the age of 17.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a lot of people don't know about this, but the first business I opened was a small bookshop or a stationery shop. Again, from the fascination of every year what you're buying for school. That one stayed open for about a year and a half, 2 years before I closed it down. By that time, I was done with high school and ready to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
So this is on the entrepreneurial side. On the practical side, my first summer job
mm-hmm.
was in a petrol station. And for 1 month, I worked for 500 dirhams. That was my salary. I kid you not, that 500 dirhams stayed with me for like 4 years. I didn't want to spend it because other than taking the initiative in a business idea, taking the initiative to step out of your comfort zone taught me a lot, because I started interacting with people from different backgrounds, different levels. And every time I deal with someone, I learn something new.
Interesting, amazing. So, Sultan, you started with the small things. You didn't start with the big things, like you said, okay, I need so much capital, I need partner, I need many things in order to make it happen. You started small. Like, of course, what I understand, you don't have now the supermarket you started with, or you don't have the big shop. So tell me, how many businesses you started at the beginning in order to get your way, and you say, I learned from these mistakes, I learned from the failure I did, I'm going to change something, I'm going to do something special in order I get that the process or the way I want to be.
Let me answer the second question.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. There is no magic number. How many businesses, how many years in each business varies with the experience that you get as well. But I think personally, the passion of trying something new, every idea you try that doesn't work is an experiment, is a learning opportunity. Now you know what doesn't work. As I said, I think with Edison, when he tried to invent the light bulb, the first 100 attempts was failure. It's like, no, I tried 100. Now I know 100 ways how the light bulb cannot be invented until I reached how it can be invented. The only major lesson learned all over this is how to embrace failure as an individual, because you can easily answer other people when they accuse you of being a failure. You can justify, you can give the reasons, but between you and yourself, most people I've met and dealt with, and I think you can also relate to this, are too harsh on themselves. And I think this is one of the best lessons I learned, that if you're too harsh on yourself, then you're not gonna grow, you're not gonna progress. You're gonna actually take a step back. And it also depends on your tolerance. Some people have the strength and tolerance to experiment, to spend that time, to spend that money. Others don't have it. So how do you also understand yourself? First of all, your own strengths and weaknesses. Then how do you know your villain, I would say. The psychological term is saboteur, but let's say if you are a superhero, you have superpowers, then you have a villain who is opposing you. This villain is usually a saboteur from within yourself, who balances things out. So if you know yourself, and then you know your limitation, and then what challenges you have to face, life becomes a bit more easier, because then you are dealing with I'm not going to say the guarantees, but you're dealing with what you know at the end of the day is you doing your best. Whether you achieve the ultimate goal or not, but at least you are moving in that right direction.
Yeah. That's amazing. You mentioned something like every entrepreneur, every business owner, he should be a long life student. Some people say, "Oh, I reach what I want. Now it's enough. I'm not going to learn many things. I'm satisfied. I want this." But actually, what you mentioned, that every entrepreneur, everything should have a different mindset, right? It's different. Like when you are employee at the work, just you are waiting for the salary or the weekend or for vacation 1 month to go wherever you want, and then the entrepreneur who's just taking risk, learning from his failure, he has a different mindset and applying other stuff. So tell me, how is the mindset of entrepreneur should be, rather than waiting for the salary, like as employee, for example? What is the mindset?
I think this is another misconception we need to address.
Mm-hmm.
You have two terminologies. You have entrepreneur and intrapreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You can be an entrepreneur within your job. You can have a 9-to-5 job
Mm-hmm.
and still be carrying the spirit of an entrepreneur. What's an entrepreneur at the end of the day? It's someone who brings something new as a concept, as a business, or who starts something from scratch. I've seen employees doing the same. From my work with the government accelerators, from my work in the private sector, people have the ability to be innovative and come up with solutions if they have the right ecosystem around them. And if they don't, then they are twice as good, because they are dealing with the challenges of not having the ecosystem, but still persisting
Mm-hmm.
to become entrepreneurs. It's always a risk. It's always a challenge to think differently, to talk differently. Most people like conformity.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, wait till the end of the month to get the salary. How many would take 2 months off to work on an idea, not knowing if it will succeed or not? That's the entrepreneurial spirit. You take an unpaid leave, for example, or you work extra hours. You don't get paid overtime in your work, but you spend more hours trying to come up with a new solution to an existing problem.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing, by the way, that it might be rejected by management.
Wow.
It might work, it might not work, but you have achieved the first goal, which is turning an idea into reality, into something tangible.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's that connection between what's on your mind and how do you make it happen in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Yeah. And there is something like, let's talk about you, Sultan. Like, as you said, entrepreneurs should have different, or they can work also from 9 to 5. There is a differentiation between entrepreneur and entrepreneur. So as a Sultan now, if I ask you, what drives you? What makes you wake up early morning? Or, of course, some other people say, I want to lose weight in 1 year. I want to launch business in a few months. But after a few weeks, they give up, right? So I want to know what drives you, what moves you forward?
On day-to-day basis, I would have to say ideas and concepts. New ideas, new concepts, the challenge, the unsolved problems that requires a solution. And I will not always jump to the easiest solution. I'll always try to think of multiple solutions. Again, me as a person, as an individual, I can honestly say that I have days where nothing drives me.
Mhm.
And on those days, I've learned to make peace with myself because I just need to lay back and relax. And only when I do that, that 2-3 hours later, I will get that eureka idea, something, because I allowed myself to be.
Mhm.
And then there are days, and I kid you not, that I will stay awake for 70 hours, 72 hours continuous
Wow.
because I have something on my mind that I need to work on. And until I am satisfied, I cannot even go to sleep.
Mhm.
So again, for me personally, might not be the optimum solution for everyone. And I would definitely not recommend that people stay up for more than 48 hours.
Mhm.
However, I've seen people dedicating all their energy to an idea,
Mhm.
and that's the power of the idea. So that's why I will go back to answer a question and say it's always an idea, a concept. And as much as I love it when the idea is successful or great, I also appreciate it when the idea fails and I start getting feedback from others
Mhm.
to learn how to develop this idea further.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you. It's sometimes it's easy for anyone just to have an idea without an execution. The execution is the most difficult part, and easy for other people just to plan and instead of taking actions. So if sometime you get stuck in the momentum, like some people say, okay, I have a goal, I have something, but I'm getting stuck. I don't know how to move forward. They start to call other people. They start blaming the situation, blaming the circumstances, the providing excuses. So maybe there should be a responsibility. What do you think about, like, every entrepreneur should be responsible for his decision, his thought, because at the end of the day, he's creating something for himself. He's doing initiative, or is doing something that have never been able to do it before. So what do you think, like, the entrepreneur do really himself should be responsible for any situation, that he cannot get stuck in any situation?
There is no perfect scenario where any entrepreneur will succeed or fail.
Mm-hmm.
With the gold rush in San Francisco, everyone started migrating from one side of the US to the other side,
Mm-hmm.
but 90% of them didn't find gold.
Mm-hmm.
With the Silicon Valley, the same. Every entrepreneur, every business leader, every CEO, every individual can feel like that at one point in their life, on a personal or a professional level. They have to, and most probably will, create their own mechanism, either of coping or overcoming.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, some will complain and blame circumstances, and this might work for them. Maybe the ecosystem around them allow them to blame, and because of that blame, they will get the support they need.
Mm-hmm.
Others will be quiet and they will invest more time, energy, money, and that will work for them. And vice versa, it might not work for either of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always the individual character that defines. Every major company today started with an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take maybe 2-3 examples. Apple
Mm-hmm.
started with an entrepreneur. Microsoft, Tesla, all of those had an individual
Mhm.
with a perseverance to succeed.
Yeah.
And they overcame the challenges. Now, can you imagine them without this individual? Most probably not, because even when you look at the organization, even after now the late Steve Jobs or Bill Gates left,
Mhm.
you still see the persona, you still see the values of the individual cascading down throughout the organization. And these values, these beliefs, they translate into the mission, the vision,
Mhm.
statements, and the values of the company and the charter. So the success of the company is linked with that individual's success.
Mhm.
So many people did it from the first or second attempt. Others, you've got like, I think, Richard Branson,
Mhm.
who jumped between so many different companies until he reached the level he did. So again, different variables for different individuals and how they deal with it. But definitely there is always one thing in common, is not giving up.
Yeah, it's true. So, as a Sultan, I want to know more about Sultan, about how he started to do things. So, when you start something, really you start off, I have a fear, I have negative emotion, I have negative thoughts. How to turn these things, the obstacles, I say, into positive things? Like, I'm going to do it, no matter what, I have to do it. How do you deal with
I
this?
don't think you should take me as an example. Again, as I said, everyone is different, everyone's unique. I'm a bit more radical. So when I fall in love with an idea, I will not look at all the negatives. I'll just focus on that idea until I achieve the idea or the objective I set for myself. Now, was it the right idea at the right time? Yes, maybe. I don't know. Were they profitable? 70% of them were not profitable.
Mhm.
But for example, when I ventured for about 2.5 years in film production,
Mhm.
instead of going to a film school,
Yeah.
I decided to dive deep into it. And I can give you a small example. I could have paid that same amount I invested in getting a degree to hang on the wall,
Mhm.
and that will be that will be worthless.
Mhm.
But on the contrary, I invested that amount into 2 or 3 short films that won awards and gave me practical experience in the world.
Mhm.
Now, do I want to be a film producer, director? I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no. But at one point, I did visualize myself
Mhm.
as that in that career path. And I don't regret the experience because I've learned from it.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you honestly, anything that you're afraid of should be a sign to you that you need to step, because you're too stuck in your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Comfort zone is good, don't get me wrong. The
Mhm.
comfort zone, once you set it around you, it's beautiful because you have everything you need where you need it. But when you cannot step out of it, when you're scared to try something new, that's when you realize that at one point or another, if your circumstances change, your comfort zone might disappear.
Mhm.
So are you ready to face those new challenges? And again, the beauty of venturing into different fields is sometimes you can find solutions in different places that you would never have expected.
Mhm.
And I remember a story with the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
They had a challenge to deliver vaccines to Central Africa. Vaccines needed to arrive there at a certain temperature. They didn't have the infrastructure. They tried with the UN. The UN had challenges. And in one conference, the CEO of, I think, Pepsi-Cola or Coca-Cola was there. And they had that discussion, and then they realized that they have the network to distribute soft drinks all over that region. So they just collaborated. Who would have thought that soft drinks, which are known to be not the healthiest thing, would be the solution to health and support the World Health Organization distribute vaccines. So you see, these opportunities or these ideas will never be possible if you say, I'm just a banker, I'm just a real estate guy, I'm just a HR person. I'm not going to venture out of my field.
Yeah, you really touched upon the good point, which is comfort zone, which are many people. One of them, I'm telling you, 3 years or 5 years back, I said, oh, I am working now in the bank. What I want other things. Why should I do other risky stuff? I am enough. I have a good life. I have things. My family is with me. I don't want to get out of this comfort zone. So I was thinking, my mind was working like that. I am in my comfort zone, so I don't need to get out. When I get out, I'm scared. I feel uncomfortable. Really, I'm going to do this? So that's my mindset changed completely when I try to do things. So now, when I want to do anything, there is a fear, there is uncomfortable, there is, I think from this point is the time to grow. Time getting out of your comfort zone is time to grow, to discover new things, to do many things in order to proceed forward. And you mentioned about the stories, like the video production you made, and so since you made three films, which is many now video producer just dreaming just to do one, and you did mashallah 3. What stops you to move forward? Like, if you have a mission, if you visualize these things, why don't you continue?
So I love movies. I love TV shows. I love production. I love theatrical play. And I ventured into it. Like you say, I dipped my toe in the water. And to me, that was satisfactory because I satisfied the curiosity in me to understand how that ecosystem works. But I'm also still interested in so many other things. So one of them was creative writing. And that's why I started writing different kind of books. And again, did I stop because it had to end? Maybe at that stage, yes, because I didn't see the continuation as a career. As I said, I've invested time, energy, and money in it, and I achieved a tangible result. But I did not see it as my life career.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, I've always enjoyed diversity. I've enjoyed venturing to different sectors. So I worked in education. I worked in health. I worked in creative arts, movies. I also worked in music for a while. I worked in culinary arts.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in private sector. I worked in the public sector. It's, for me as an individual, it's this variety
Mm-hmm.
that, to answer your question, what makes me wake up every day in the morning, because there's something new for me to discover
Mm-hmm.
from the scratch. Some people don't like that. Some people are happier with the same thing every day. And again,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot say they're wrong or right.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, for sure, it was having that experience now, allowing me to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, having learned so much while practically working in the field, I can at any point step back into it when I need.
So, yeah, it's a really good point. I don't want to get you back to the interview for the job to ask you, what do you want after 5 years, or what do you want to be after 5 years? I want to ask you, what's your desire now? What's your purpose in this? When you enter in something, said, yes, I want, some people say, I want to impact other people. I want to help my family. I want to serve. I want to be example of my children when I start something. So I want to know about Sultan. What is your desire?
Okay. Desire, I think, is a very specific word. We all desire to be successful. We all desire to be, as a parent, a role model to your kids. But I'll tell you what's definitely I've become almost more than a passion, almost an obsession, is helping others realize their potential. During the journey between the private and the public sector, I was invited by a friend to a coaching seminar to learn how to be a coach. And again, I never say no. Was curious to know, and I've went to the course. I've learned the principles, and then I started applying it with very few people. I was shocked with the impact. Momentarily, while you're talking to people, because in coaching, you're not mentoring, you're not providing or advising or counseling. In coaching, think about it like a football coach. He cannot play in the field with the players, but he just provides them the support, the guidance. And that's from there, I've learned more about this practice. And now I have anywhere between 20, 25 people that I'm coaching in accordance to the International Coach Federation standards. So I cannot disclose names or information. But also, when I worked at the government accelerators, I've trained around 34 coaches in the Prime Minister office. So they can also carry the same attributes. Don't solve the problem for other people. Assist them to solve it themselves.
Yeah. And this one really now, I understand your journey. It was not easy. It was not like what other people are seeing in the social media or other platform. They are just having fun, driving an expensive car or going anywhere just to show the people. And I want to know this, as an entrepreneur, what three things, main things, should he apply in order to avoid the mistakes, like to avoid the obstacles? What he should do? Like if for example, if I am just entrepreneur now, I said, I want to launch a business or I want to create something. What should I do? And what should I avoid?
Start.
Yeah.
You should start. Whether you're ready or not, just start. Definitely look at the other side of the coin. Any challenge you face, there is an opportunity there. That opportunity can be tangible or it can be networking. Let's say you face a challenge while you're doing paperwork. You get to meet more people. You get to learn more. And definitely keep an open mind. You can learn from people above 70 with all their experience as much as you can learn from kids at the age of 7 who will give you a very simple and honest answer.
Yeah. So how do you like define open-minded? Like some people say, or when they see something on social media or on TV, they are really open-minded. So how do you define? There is many people can define this word differently. Just they listen. Open-minded. I understand that open-minded. You grab things, you explore things, you ask questions. You say yes, I want to learn. I'm willing to fail. So how you define like someone wants to be open-minded?
I think it was Socrates that once said to someone, "Speak so I can see you." Listen. If you want to know how open-minded is someone, listen. And these are one of the skills that I've picked up over the years. The art of listening. I can't tell you how many problems were solved without my contribution, just because I spent enough time listening and the person in front of me was talking, and as I was listening, he was also listening to himself or herself, and they found that the solution was there all along. But the problem is no one spends enough time listening to others. That's number one. Number two, asking the right questions. And keep in mind, when you ask a question, 90% of the time, you are helping the other person find the answer. So rather than being judgmental about it, it's easy to be fake in this day and age. I've seen and heard so many people talking about so many different controversial topics. But go meet them in real life, go visit their house.
Yeah.
It's not the same. And as you mentioned, social media, you can see people with luxury cars, private jets, yachts. Go meet them in real life. They're sharing a room. But they're using it as a business. Again, I'm not generalizing, but I'm just using it as an example. So as an entrepreneur, to be open-minded does not mean that you just accept everything that's thrown to you. You have to also draw the line. But the philosophy, customers are always right. A lot of people, and I've seen startups who said, no, customers are not always right. And I don't mind kicking out a customer because they misbehaved or. And again, that opportunity, if managed well, can turn into an advantage. Because if you have an angry customer who you make or you satisfy one way or another, you don't have to give up sometimes. Sometimes you just have to listen to the complaint. Yeah. But you solve that problem for him. They become an advocate for your business or your idea. So it's really not black or white when it comes to defining mindedness, but definitely, as I said, listen, because when you listen, that's when you learn. Observe, of course, and ask the right questions.
Yeah, and you just mentioned about comparison, like you say in the social media, people just showing off. We have things. So if any entrepreneurs should avoid to go on this journey to avoid the comparison, right? What other top things that the entrepreneur should avoid?
Are we talking in general or?
Yeah, in general.
Okay. So social media definitely changed the way that we interact. If it's your personal social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's an extension of your person as an individual. If it's your business social media, make sure, number one, not to mix those two. As an individual, I can have a private account, but my business has a public account. And I've seen a lot of people fall into that trap where they don't differentiate between what's personal and what's business. It's a bit tricky, but for any startup, quick wins are usually the aims or the goals. I always say this to people who want to start a business. Before you start,
Sultan, really interesting topics you are bringing here to Success Story podcast, and we are very happy for this. And I want to know about you more. Like, what do you like? What do you love? What do you like to do outside the business? No entrepreneur. How do you spend your time?
Oh, okay. I can do the traditional answer. I like swimming, horseback riding, and archery. But no, I'll be a bit more honest and blunt because I think this is also part of my character. I love poetry. I love music, arts. I love gardening. I love cooking. I'm a major science fiction geek. I like Star Wars. I like board games. I don't think there is anything I tried that I didn't find an aspect that I liked in it. So the only constant in all of my hobbies is the fact that I will keep jumping between one to the other. So you will never find me always doing one thing. I like variety. I like change. I like every time to have something new in life.
I can see now the producer is sending me really questions about this. So I'm going to show just to satisfy the producer here. And you talked about
we'll ask the producer for some mugs later.
Yeah. Oh, there is no water, producer. So you love riding horse or to do many variety things, but I can't see here many people like the World Cup is just coming now in November. Do you like watch football outside or to hang out with your with friends to talk about football, or just when you go out with your friends about what you talk?
Okay, I wish you didn't ask that question. So I only liked football to become close with my brother because he's a big football fan. I don't like football at all. I like volleyball, I like basketball, but football, and I even became a supporter of Real Madrid, and just because it was an opportunity for me to, get to know my younger brother as he's growing up. I don't waste time. So most of the small groups we hang out in, we're always either about one of the passions I talked about. So some are passionate about farming, agriculture, gardening, other about food. So we have a foodies group where we'll try a new restaurant, or we will get together at home and cook. Then the sci-fi geeks where, there's a new board game, let's get together and play. It's definitely a little bit beyond just talking about normal stuff or what's happening. As I said, the diversity, the constant change, I found very few people who actually also enjoy that. And again, these, to give you the on the contrary to the tradition, where you'll have people meeting every weekend in a coffee shop or every weekend to go to the movies. I tried that as well in the past, but it just wasn't me.
Yeah, it's true. So it's really, I read many books, I read things. One of the entrepreneur journey, or a person, you said, I say no to other things. When I'm focused, I focus. Even my phone, like here, when I'm producer is sending me something, he's saying, I don't look at it. Why? Because I'm focusing. I focus on things. I say no to everyone. I say no even to my family, because I'm working on their mission. I'm working because I'm working for them. Right. So now I want to ask, to tell you about, like, you are the vice president of International Accelerator, right? So what is, let's talk about the city, Dubai. What do you think about, like, if entrepreneur wants to come from outside and launch a business here in Dubai? Is it easy in terms of system, in terms of other stuff or other things? It just, you can do it in 1 week or 1 month, or there is more procedure, and how the city can help the entrepreneur to launch his business here?
It's definitely not easy. You can get a trade license in 15 minutes, but you still have to pay. You can set up a office like this, studio, you still have to pay. It's not easy. However, the ecosystem is built to support. And I think this is my current role at the International Accelerator, because over 8 years operating in the US, we have so many success stories. And the US is known for a land of opportunity. And the UAE in general is also, and Dubai specifically, is now known as a land of opportunity here. Replicating certain aspects, we don't take a copy-paste approach. Not everything that worked there will work here. And building on 3 fundamental cornerstones. Everyone thinks to succeed you need money, which is not true. Because money can be the byproduct. Everyone thinks to succeed you need more people, which is not true. Because less is more when it comes to people. If you have few talented team members, it's better than having an army of no talent. Last is time. Everyone thinks you need more time to succeed, which is also not true. You can succeed much faster if those 3 principles are aligned in the right way and the ecosystem is there. So
how do you measure success? Like some people say, I know I'm success when I wear anything I want. I don't wear Kandoro, I don't wear suit. I wear anything I want to wear. Or someone say, my measure of the success is to wake up at 12 p.m. Or the other person, when I have millions in my bank account. How do you measure success?
I can't measure success. You can't measure success. Everyone has his own measure of success. If you achieve your goal, is that success? If you wear what you want, is that success? Again, to you, in retrospect, to me is when you say job done, target achieved or exceeded. That's success. But overall success does not exist. To say you're always successful, the bigger you are, the more problems you're gonna face.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on you as an individual. I used to do this exercise with some of my clients, the legacy exercise. You remember the movie Gladiator?
Unfortunately, I don't watch movies.
Oh, okay. Most of your audience will definitely remember. I think everyone here knows the movie.
Guys, you know?
So it was Emperor Marcus who wanted to keep a legacy. And he didn't know what legacy to keep. Is he the peaceful, the conqueror, the builder, da. So before you look to your own legacy, what you want to keep as a successful person, and I'll go back to answering your question in a second. The exercise is to identify which people were successful in certain things that you look up. You look up to. So the importance of working hard. I'm pretty sure if I ask you, you're going to have someone in mind. And not someone superficial or someone you never met. No, I'm talking someone from your close circle. There are so many different values, religious, emotional, cultural, economical.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'll be successful if I leave a legacy where people won't be happy that I died.
Amazing.
That will be success for me. I don't want someone to say, oh yeah, he's dead. Finally. He's gone.
Oh, hopefully she did. No. We won't.
That to me means I was wicked, evil at one point. I'd rather, people say, oh, we're going to miss him.
Yeah. He did
Now,
many things. He helped others. He did many things.
Let them say what they say, as long as it's positive.
Yeah, and we are really having a great discussions, and we spend a lot of minutes here together discussing about really topics, entrepreneurs, life of Sultan, who is here. Now is just last question, okay, before we wrap up here from here and we do other things. So if I ask you, what is your advice? Maybe you mentioned before and you can summarize it again. If anyone wants to open a business, to launch a business, or to be entrepreneur, what 3 advices you advise them?
You have something with number 3, I noticed.
Yeah, everything with 3.
Everything with 3. Okay. 3 advices. Number 1, don't listen to anyone's advice, including this one.
The worst advice is listening from the person who was not there. Like, I agree with you, especially some people say they didn't experience anything, they didn't do anything, and he will tell you, don't do this, it's not good for you or not good for that. I agree with you, Sultan.
Second advice will be the same I mentioned before. Just do it. Just start. My father taught me this
Mhm.
as a principle in life. If someone asks you, who permitted you to do this? Your question or your reply is, who stopped me? I think the old philosophy is it's better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. Because if you still wait for permission, you will not take any action. So you can start. And most importantly,
Mhm.
listen to your gut feeling.
Yeah.
It always tells you if what you're doing is right or wrong.
Completely interesting points. And we are very happy here, Sultan, to have you in this episode. It's really grateful, and we are really grateful for you, and I appreciate the time you spent here to come with us.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Sultan, and
You're
I
welcome.
wish you all the best. And goodbye, everyone. We'll see you in next episode.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sultan.